Hey, it's Regina here at Tarot and Time in Kent, Connecticut. Let's talk about the month of August using tarot and astrology for everyday living. So, the month of August was named after Augustus Caesar. He must have really liked the month to name it after himself. This month is chock full of retrogrades, and retrogrades are the idea that the planet is moving backwards. Again, we know that that is just an optical illusion, but it does affect us in a backwards way. And in astrology, the planets move backwards in degrees. So we always seem to have planets in retrograde. The outer planets, one of them always seems to be retrograding, even though we have a few of them right now. The inner planets are the ones that we usually pay more attention to, like Venus, like Mercury and Mars. And as we know, if you listened to last month, Mercury is currently in retrograde. So what does this mean? Well, Mercury is the planet of communication. Mercury is the messenger. Mercury rules roadways and pathways. And I like to think that it rules neuro pathways in the brain also. So when it's a Mercury retrograde, it's a time where we know we're going to revisit things. And it's a great time to take advantage of that energy, like revisiting you could revisit old friends, you could revisit old projects, things that you've put to the side. Anything that has to do with the term RE, review, renew, reassess, reevaluate, renegotiate. But it's not a great time for making really big decisions, and it's not a great time to sign the dotted line because Mercury is also the trickster. And so we want to be careful what we get, what we commit to. Okay. So Mercury started its retrograde on July 18th, and it will be there until August 10th. And it'll be in its shadow period for a bit. But if you can wait till at least August 12th before making any big decisions, that would be ideal. But if you really want to be really careful, maybe wait until almost September 1st. So, as I said, there's a lot of planets in retrograde, and we know that Saturn is one of them. Saturn, the planet, some people call it the planet of hardship or restriction. It's almost like a disciplinarian parent. And we talked about this in the July month ahead, how Saturn's going to be retrograding from July 13th to November 27th. And it's hanging out really close with Neptune, the planet of illusion and delusion, the planet that's considered to be the great healer. Neptune is also retrograding from 4th of July until December 10th. So we're basically going to have a lot of retrogrades till the end of this year. I know Uranus is also going to start its retrograde next month. These are all outer planets. So I think it's interesting to think about how Saturn and Neptune right now are in Aries, and they are going to move back into Pisces. So Saturn's going to re-enter Pisces in September, which means that this is its last month of it being in Aries until it comes back in February of 2026. And then we've also got Neptune that's going to move back into Pisces in October 22nd. And then it'll come back to Aries in January of 2026. So the end of this year, we're going back and reviewing everything that's been happening. I can't help but think of the presidential election, that we're going to come back over that time period. And we're going to have these two planets together that are very different, right? Saturn, responsibility, hardship, kind of the rules, right? And Neptune, which is the great healer, but it's also a planet of illusion and delusion. So I think that there's going to be a lot of clarity, because even though Neptune is considered illusion and delusion, it's also considered to be vision, clarity of vision. So, when you talk about these planets, they're kind of like one extreme or the other. So it can be cloudy or it can be really clear. So I'm feeling that a lot of things, because Neptune rules the sign Pisces, and Pisces has a lot to do with secrets. And Saturn is the rule. Saturn is like jail. So there's going to be a lot of secrets surfacing. There's going to be a lot of the hidden being revealed. I think of Pisces, I think of the subconscious mind. Also, there's going to be a lot of information and a lot of disciplinary actions that are going to come out of this. And that's my personal hope, that that is in the highest and best way. So if you think about it, we're really in the last month, at least for Saturn, where it's going to be Aries. It is going to come back to Aries, but this is like its last period, last month of this first initial dip into Aries. Aries, a cardinal fire sign that wants to push forward, that will fight if it needs to, but it's very active energy. This is the second to the last month of Neptune being in its first round of Aries. Now remember, it's going to be 5 years until Neptune returns to the sign of Pisces. 165 years. So this is really interesting times. Whenever planets get to like the end of a sign, end of the degrees, or the beginning of degrees, those are intense placements. So we already know we're living in intense times, but this kind of gives me hope that things will reveal itself and that we will be able to move forward in a more balanced way, because I think of Saturn resolving karmic imbalances. So Saturn will not return to Pisces for 29 years, but Neptune will not return in our lifetime. I think that's all pretty interesting to think about. Okay, so Mercury retrograde, remember, hold on to your hat until August 11th. And don't make any major purchases. Don't make any major commitments. But remember that we're going to revisit everything that's been happening since June 30th. So it's a good time to be taking notes. It's a good time to be paying attention to what's coming back around. We may have had one experience, and then I always say, like a retrograde, like you see everything from this way, then you see everything from that way, and then you get to see the full picture. So we are in the midst of that. So take good notes. Now, this month of August, we have a couple planetary changes, and we have Mars, the planet of action, moving into, it's going to leave the sign of Virgo, where it's very efficient. We talked about it being a great time to advocate for your human rights, those kind of things. And it's going to move into, right at the beginning of the month, into Libra, the air sign of Libra, the scales of justice. And so this is going to be a good time for collaborations, cooperation, sharing credit with others, and improving your manners. This is when you need to play nice with others, because Mars kind of likes to do things itself, has a lot of initiative, but Libra is a sign of relationships, and it wants to do things with others. Now, Mars in Libra is considered to be the detriment position for Mars, which means it's the second to the worst position for Mars, because Mars doesn't want to play nice with others. And when it's in Libra, there's no such thing as going it alone. So this is going to be an interesting situation, but remember that the answer is in relationships, in partnerships. And even if that is just getting someone else's opinion on something, but playing nice with others is key here. Now, we also have the planet. Let's see, I've got so many notes here. The planet Venus. So we know that Venus moved into the sign of Cancer at the end of July. And so very beautiful placement, kind of a warm and fuzzy placement with Venus, the planet of relationships, and it has to do with love, and it has to do with self-value. And then it moves into the fiery sign of Leo on the 25th of August. This is called the Golden Venus because Leo is ruled by the sun, and it is known to be infinitely attractive. So if you're lucky enough to have been born with Venus in the sign of Leo, you get to be infinitely attractive. Now, Venus in Leo, it's going to be there from the 25th to the 19th of September. Now, it's going to be interesting the way that Venus is going to trine Saturn and Neptune, and there's going to be a lot of people wanting to help you. There's going to be a lot of people wanting to kind of get in on a piece of who you are. But there's a couple warnings here. Don't make promises too early on, okay? It's like you're a big shining light and everybody wants a piece of it. So don't sign the dotted line. Keep the conversation flowing. Keep your options open. You don't really have all the facts yet, okay? But enjoy the beauty of being infinitely attractive, right? Enjoy the beauty, the charismatic, magnetic energy that is available with Venus and Leo. But one thing you have to be very careful for is jealousy. And it's very easy. And if you're a person born with Venus and Leo, you probably are used to the fact that people can get jealous of you very easily. Now, I know that you're not responsible for how other people react, right? But you also want to keep it in mind because it can be a safety issue. And you don't want to be, not realize that that's going on. So take note, especially if you're being praised or a lot of people are crowding around you, or, especially if you're single, and make sure that you note where you're maybe making other people jealous. Now, I use the symbol of the evil eye for the printout that I made for the month. And so the evil eye was traditionally used in like Italy and Albania and Greece and all those kind of countries they used it to ward off envy. It was to bounce the envy and to bounce the negativity back to the sender. And so a lot of times brides used it, right? Because not everybody that was sitting in the church was happy for the bride. Some people may have been jealous. And so the evil eye is something to keep in mind, or it's a great talisman to wear and to protect you from envy, especially if you're a performer or you're in the public eye. So Venus to Leo, 8/19. So it's a little overview of the month. We're going to jump in where we left off last month and go through week by week. So we left off on last month on August 4th, where we have the moon into the sign of Sagittarius. Now, the sun and Mercury are going to be opposite Pluto. And I have to say, when I was looking at the chart for the month, what jumped out to me was all the planets kind of take up like half of the chart. And then there's like Pluto hanging out by itself over in Aquarius. And sometimes I've heard that called in astrology classes, like that planet is steering. Okay. That planet is kind of navigating all the bulk of all the other planets. So Pluto, which is also retrograding in the air sign of Aquarius, and Pluto wants to bring change. Pluto is the death card in tarot, death and rebirth. So we see that change is really driving the vehicle, steering the boat, steering the ship. So we've got themes of change. We already know that we are going into interesting territory with all these retrogrades. We know Saturn and Neptune are, kind of leaving Pisces, but going back for one more dip into it, and then it will finally leave Pisces for good. So there are a lot of changes happening. And so we can thank Pluto for that. Now on the 4th, the sun and Mercury will be opposite Pluto. They'll be together in the sign of Leo, right across from Pluto in the sign of Aquarius. Now, for Monday the 4th, I wrote down, keep things professional versus personal. Have fun and don't get into deep emotional conversation. We've got the moon square Mars, and Mars is moving too fast to care about emotions. So just keep things a little bit lighter, stay professional, and don't get too into deep emotional conversation. Now, this continues into the 5th, where you need to be really kind to yourself, but no deep conversations continue. The moon is going to be opposite Venus, and Venus rules relationships, but we have a bunch of squares going on, so just keep things light. On the 6th, this is the day that Mars moves into Libra. So remember, we want to play nice with others. No such thing as going it alone. Collaborations, cooperation. Play nice with others and improve your manners on Wednesday, the 6th, as the moon enters the sign of Capricorn. Now, on the 7th, if you choose the right words, you just might get lucky. And the moon in Capricorn is going to be really close to Pluto in Aquarius, and it's going to be opposite Mercury. Now, Pluto does rule sex, and Mercury is the spoken word. So if you choose your words right, you may get lucky. Or Pluto also rules other people's money. So if you use the right words, we already have Mars in a relationship sign, you can collaborate, form connections with people where valuable resources are available. Now, Friday the 8th, we're going to have Mars opposite Saturn. Saturn's in Aries, which is not its best placement. Mars is the ruler of Aries. So it's a little bit of a wacky day. There's a little bit of like wrong signals going on. Neither planet is really at its best. So, take the lead with proper respect. Be careful, be kind. Again, making sure you're giving other people credit, but I would really be giving other people praise on the 8th. So I wrote down, take the lead with proper respect or allow someone else to give praise. And remember, we're moving into a full moon. This is a full moon week, and not only just a full moon, but a full Aquarius moon. And when it's an Aquarius, anytime Aquarius is involved, you just never know what's going to happen. Okay. Aquarius is originally ruled by Saturn, which is retrograding, and its newer ruler is Uranus, the planet of oh wow. Okay. So we got a lot of oh wow energy going on this full moon week. Now, Saturday, the moon peaks at 3:55 a.m. All right. And let's see my notes on that. 3:55 a.m. This is considered to be an enlightening day. This is a great time for therapy or for life coaching because you can have breakthroughs. Okay. Think of that lightning bolt of Uranus. Therapy, life coaching, you can embrace your uniqueness. It's not a flaw, it's who you are. And you can get a bird's eye view of self. So you can really see the bigger picture here and really make some forward moving energy here. So this Aquarius full moon, 16 degrees. And this is, let's see, the original ruler Saturn in retrograde, and it's in its detriment in the sign of Aries. So not its best placement. Uranus, the new ruler of the sign of Aquarius, right? The modern day ruler Uranus just changed sign. It's been in Taurus since 2018. It just moved into Gemini last month. So interesting full moon in Aquarius with the ruling planets going through some interesting things. So this is a great full moon to talk about the things that are holding you back. That's why I was mentioning life coaching or therapy. There's cool clarity involved. There's transparency of your fears and your insecurities. You get a bird's eye view. So it almost feels like you can see it without getting too emotional about it. Talk through your bad habits and negative thinking. Uranus in Gemini. Gemini wants to talk it out. Enlightenment is available. Embrace your uniqueness. And keep in mind, the moon has no aspects except that it's opposite the sun. So it's a smooth time. And so this energy can come in crisp and clear. Now, Sunday the 10th, remember, it's still a full moon, just coming down off of it. And the moon's going to enter Pisces early in the morning. So Pisces, water sign, needs more rest than other signs. Sleep in if you can on Sunday. Move slowly. Enjoy the bliss. Pay attention to the enlightenment that you've received and the changes that you may want to consider making from that information. Also on the 10th, we have Mars in Libra trining Pluto, because Libra's an air sign and Pluto's in the air sign of Aquarius. There's actually a grand air trine going on because we also have Uranus in the sign of Gemini. So we've got a lot of air energy. So there's a lot of thinking, there's a lot of speaking, there's a lot of enlightenment. So show others you are listening on Sunday the 10th. Team effort, get people on board. People can help you accomplish more. But remembering Mercury is still in retrograde. It's going to end on the 11th, but it's still in retrograde over that weekend. So keep that in mind. Now, let's pull a couple cards and see what you need to know this full moon week. And yes, this is a general reading for everyone, but you can take bits and pieces of it that you feel that you connect with. So let's give you 3 cards here, and I'll give you an oracle. I've got some great decks here I'm working with. I've got the Touchstone Tarot, which is a nice, like, classic kind of deck. We have the Cozy Witch Tarot, which is a fun, I guess it could be considered a kid-friendly deck. And the Witch's Tarot, which I love. And we're going to pull one from the Oracle, the Wild Whiskers. And I have some tea leaf fortune cards floating around here too, so we'll get you one of those and see what you need to know here. Let me just take one of these. I have all my tea leaf ones in this cool bag here. Throw one of those on. And it says the star came up right. So the first card that's really showing up is the star. It says guaranteed success. And, you know, the star card in tarot is ruled by Aquarius, and we're talking about an Aquarius full moon. So guaranteed success right off the bat. Good thing to see. Now, let's see what we've got here. First card is the Queen of Cups. So you've got the Queen of Emotions, the watery queen, the Queen of, you know, sometimes I guess the Queen of Pentacles is more the queen of the home, but I think of the Queen of Cups as so creative. I can see that she's got some fruit in front of her, and she's got she's very adorned in jewels. Okay, so we've got this watery, emotional queen here. Now, let's see what else we've got. We've got the 9 of Pentacles, showing that all is well. 9 of Earth, 9 of, some people will call it money. And we have the 10 of Swords. It says, hurt people, and hurt witches hurt witches. And she's holding a bottle that I think says poison on it. Okay, so there's 10 of Swords, and we've got the star. Let's just see what this other one is. And it says, Rowdy Rooster. It says, proud and noble guardian, grant me the power to rise up and shine. Rowdy Rooster. Okay, so interesting that it's like the Rowdy Rooster next to, on the other side of this 10 of Swords, and we've got the 9 of Pentacles. Sometimes the 9 of Pentacles has a sense of complacency to it, like there can be a sense of boredom or like all is well, but you're kind of used to everything being well. We've got this emotional queen over here, the 10 of Swords. So I really think there's something about like kind of shaking off other people's energy. Now remember, Aquarius rules friends and it rules large groups of people. And it's showing me hurt people, right? And so we got this Queen of Emotions who is really going to separate herself out from situations where she is not aligning with the emotions. My attention goes to the mountains in the background, which kind of show us a challenge. So there's kind of challenges, and then there's this peacefulness, and then there's these challenges, and then there's this rooster that's just like, no way, I am not taking this. Okay. And then you've got the card of guaranteed success. I'm just going to pull another one to replace that 10 of Swords and give me a little more clarification about what that's about. And we've got the Ace of Cups. Okay, interesting. So it goes from a 10 to a 1. And there's the Ace of Cups, the cup of satisfaction. And there's the bird dropping the coin into the cup. And so I'm getting jealousy. That's what I'm getting. There's some jealous people around you. You will move on. You are guaranteed success. You are not going to be pulled down by that. So let's just give you one more. What's the advice here on how to handle that 10 of Swords? And we've got the Ace of Wands. So you got two aces, really. This one was a clarifier. This was how to deal with it. Ace of Wands, she's got wings. Wands is fire. It's like, let's just move on from this. But just be aware that there may be some people who are just not with their highest and best intentions around you this week. They will not succeed in hurting you, but you may emotionally feel a little hurt at first. You will move on, okay? And so guaranteed success. So let me just see what that guaranteed success, there was anything in particular that was implying it towards. And you've got the Lovers card. So, the Lovers is really about choices. I think I better cover that up because I know YouTube doesn't really approve of that. So we've got choices here. And we've got choices in relationships also. Coming in, I'm just going to flip it over. I don't want YouTube to give me a hard time about that card. So, next to this card of satisfaction. So I do think that there's maybe someone who's a little bit jealous of you, jealous of your relationship, but you will notice what that is. You will feel it and you will move forward. Interesting that that's a rooster, kind of getting like male, female, and maybe someone has interest in your partner or something like that, but you will deal with this in a manner that it needs to be dealt with. Okay. You have a lot of choices and you're guaranteed to succeed. Okay. Now we move into the next week, and this is a super, super exciting week because Mercury goes direct. And I know that we all are really looking forward to that. So finally, on 11th, you get a green light. You will finally receive the green light you've been waiting for, but the terms may have changed. So be careful. So before you go rushing forward with something that maybe you've been holding off on because of retrograde, review it because the terms may be different now. Okay. Read all the fine print on Monday, Now, on Tuesday the 12th, Venus is going to be conjunct Jupiter in Cancer. This is really awesome. So Venus is such a beautiful planet of harmony and balance and love and relationships in general. And it's going to be together with Jupiter, where Jupiter is in its exalted position in the watery sign of Cancer. So I would really mark your calendar for the 12th. And this is a great time for romance, fertility, for mergers and acquisitions. Okay. So Venus, in Greek mythology, Venus is Jupiter's aunt. Isn't that interesting? Venus can make Jupiter a slave to love, they say. So there's a lot there about romance. Now, Venus in general, it's not just love, right? It can be your wallet also. Venus brings people together. So this has themes of real estate, of home ownership, of all these mergers and acquisitions. So Tuesday the 12th, one of the best days of August. Now on the 13th, we want to keep things peaceful. Kind of changes pretty quickly here. And the moon will be square Venus on the 13th, on Wednesday the 13th. So just keep it peaceful. On the 13th, we have Mercury sextile Mars. This is a positive situation. It's a great time for negotiations. Organize facts and present a compelling case. You can anticipate others' needs, okay? I'm just trying to read my notes here. I said Mars usually pushes, but with Mercury, it can volley ideas. So it's kind of a little softer position here. It can volley ideas. So this is a great time to negotiate. So it's almost like Tuesday the 12th was a great time for business and love and all those kind of things. And the 13th, it's almost like take a break, spend some alone time. And then the 14th, we're back to great energy to volley ideas back and forth and negotiate something, especially since Mercury retrograde has ended. And yes, we still are in its shadow period. Now, Friday the 15th, celebrate and enjoy the beauty. The moon moves into the Venus sign of Taurus. And I just think it's a beautiful time when the moon is in Taurus. Now, on the 16th, Saturday the 16th, it's the last quarter moon in Taurus. So I was listening to a cool video. I love listening to Christopher Renstrom on Astrology Hub. He's so great. And he was comparing last quarter moon in Taurus about it's like time to give something back. So I use the example of dog sitting. Like you've been dog sitting for a while, you're in love with the dog, but now the owners are coming home and you have to give it back. Or maybe you've been filling in on a job, but now it's time to give it back to the person whose job it is. It's not yours, it's theirs. So there's a little bit of withdrawing energy, but it was a good time. And trust that everyone will remember the good job that you did. So then we move into Sunday, the 17th, and the moon will be in the sign of Gemini, the social sign of Gemini. And it's nice for Gemini that Jupiter's not there in your sign anymore. So enjoy the social energy on the 17th. So let's pull some cards for you for this week where we have Mercury retrograde. You're getting 2 cards from there. Let's see what else we've got. All right. And I'm going to give you a tea leaf oracle. Oh, I guess you're getting 2 from there. You keep coming right side up here. You got wind chimes, peace and harmony. Boy, do I love the sound of wind chimes too. And claw, be careful, do not take risks. Okay, very opposite kind of energy. Wind chimes is so peaceful and calming, but be careful not to take risks. Okay, and we're starting off with the 8 of Swords here. So this is a card, air card, usually has a lot to do with overthinking or thinking you're stuck when you're really free. So, and we know, well, we're coming off that Aquarius full moon, a lot of air energy. Another air card, the Knight of Swords, full speed ahead here. And 7 of Swords. So you got all swords cards, all air energy. 7 of Swords looks like he's sneaking out of town or sneaking out of the circus, taking 5 swords with him, leaving 2 behind. So there may be some things, you may have been caught up in something for a while. We see forward movement and we almost see like a decision's been made. I have a jumper card here with the Emperor, the boss. Okay, so you may have been trying to make some decisions. This gives me like work vibes, but be careful and not to take risks. Now, the Emperor, he's got his whole empire to think about. So it's asking you not to take risks this week. And yeah, let's see if there's anything else. I'm going to give you one more card. Let's see how you can be feeling this week, what's available. And we've got the Tower, more air. This is Aquarius. And it says, get ready. Things are about to get shaken up. And you can see the tree hit by lightning. Okay, so there's a lot going on. Be careful about not taking risks. Find your peaceful situations. Just the sound of chimes is so calming to me. So, and it's interesting that it's wind chimes, so it's more air. So there's a lot of thought here, but not taking big risks, thinking about the big picture, the whole empire as the emperor would think about. And I'm just going to put one more card on the table here. Any more advice for this week to make the most of it? And it's the Lovers, which is funny because it's another air card. It's a Gemini card. So there is the Lovers, there's choices, but there's so much beauty. I think that's such a pretty Lovers card. So really just enjoying the beauty of the moment, but really choosing wisely and not taking big risks. As we move into the week of August 18th through August 24th, we have the sun changing signs this week, and we have a new moon in Virgo. So on Monday the 18th, we start off with the moon in the sign of Gemini, very social, busy sign. So it's easy to get stuff done in the morning or before 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Then the moon moves into the watery sign of Cancer, and there's some squares going on. So if you can do the bulk of what you need to do before 3 o'clock, and then kind of winding down a little bit early there on the 18th. Now on the 19th, I wrote down that it's a great day to hang by the pool or have a spa day. The moon is in Cancer. There's some really beautiful energy there on the 19th into the 20th. So enjoy the harmony, enjoy the beauty, take some time. Summer's going to be over faster than we want it to be. So really take advantage of these 2 days. Now on the 21st, the moon moves into it. The moon will be in Leo. And again, it kind of extends those couple days of, it's a great time to be really healthy, selfish there on the Now, on the 22nd, the sun changes signs. So those are the last couple days of the sun in the fiery sign, the heart-based sign of Leo, ruled by the sun. Okay, so it's in its own sign. Now the sun is going to move into Virgo. And it will move into Virgo on the 22nd at 4:34 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is the first time that in 2 years that the sun in Virgo will not have Saturn opposing it. Okay, because Saturn was in Pisces for a couple years there. So enjoy that you don't have to, you're not going to have the restriction and the hardship of Saturn there across from it. So Virgo energy will not be compromised. Okay, so it's going to feel good. It's going to feel much better than past Virgo seasons have felt. Now, Virgo is the harvest, or it can be the opposite. It can be real slim pickings. So there is energy on health and wealth. And it's been tough the last couple of years since 2023. There's been a lot of, with Saturn, it's been hard in health. It's been hard in wealth. And now we got to keep focused, keep our eyes on the prize, because we can really get to what it is that we want, what we want to harvest. And we can really take some good initiative about our health and well-being. Okay. I often think about Virgo ruling service and contribution. And sometimes we just have to say no, and making sure that we do that. Now, the 23rd, we move into the new moon in Virgo. So this is a great time to make moon water, which is just the act of taking water and putting it in a jar. I like to use a mason jar, putting it in the window or putting it outside for a couple days before the new moon or the full moon, and a couple days after. So it gets charged up with that energy, and then drinking it. So set an intention, right? New moons are all about setting intentions or making wishes, or as I like to say, placing your order. So making sure you can write your order down and allow it to grow, because the new moon is the dark moon and then it grows to the full moon. Now, it's easy to feel stress or anxiety. We've got Uranus squaring the new moon, and Virgo manages stress. So be open to new ideas for health management, especially mental health management. Try new things, new ideas, new alternatives. If you want to meet with our we have an herbalist in house now. And it's a good time to think about those things, to think about your health and find alternative ways to tend to the stressors that we feel because they're all around us. And, it used to be a thing of the past where, some people suffered from anxiety or some people felt really stressed out. And now it seems that it's a pandemic in itself because there's so much information floating around and there's so much that can knock us down. So really focusing on our practice. It's a good time to commit to some form of health practice, whether it be exercise, or maybe it's even just playing an instrument, or maybe it's cooking more, but some kind of habit that is healthy for us, some kind of ritual. Create a safe haven for yourself so that you can withstand the pressures of the world. And I was thinking about last week, the chimes card came out. And to me, like just hearing the sound of chimes creates such a calming experience. And I'm testing out for the store right now some of the those grounding products like grounding sheets and grounding pads. I'm testing it out to see if there's anything to it. So I'll let you know more about that soon as I have my results from that. So as we go into this Virgo new moon, okay, on the 23rd. So be open to new ideas and options. Manage stress with exercise or hobbies or diet and exercise. Now on Sunday, the 24th, the sun in Virgo will be square Uranus and Gemini. So Uranus is the lightning bolt of change. Have you learned from history or will you repeat it? This is a make or break time. Are you ready to break out on your own? Lightning bolt of change, okay? Learn from the past and don't waste your time repeating it. Sun square Uranus in Gemini. So enjoy that Virgo new moon. Enjoy the sun to Virgo. Now, because this is a 0-degree Virgo new moon. So that means that there's going to be another Virgo new moon in September, which I think is really interesting when it happens like that. So we kind of get two chances at it in the beginning in the 0 degrees and later in the later degrees of Virgo. So give yourself that time span to try some things. Cards for this new moon and this sun moving into Virgo week. Oh, you're getting two from the Cozy Witch. Let's see here. Can be one from the Touchstone Tarot. Let's throw some oracles down here for you also. And we'll pull one out of this tea leaf. Oh, we're getting two. Back to those. All right, let's see what we've got here. Your first card is the 9 of Swords. It says, we all get a bit carried away with our worries sometimes. And it looks like she's up at 3 a.m. Okay, so this is the insomnia card. This is air energy. All those swords are thoughts. And she's having a hard time sleeping. It's funny that I was just talking about testing out grounding sheets. I gotta tell you, so far it's been helping my sleep a lot. Haven't been waking up as much. If I do, I go right back to sleep. So it's interesting that those sheets are here. Okay, so 9 of Swords, a lot on the mind, right? And I don't know, a few months ago, I like to test things out. I tested out the Aura Ring. A lot of people, you see them wearing the digital Aura Ring. I, after a while, didn't like the energy on me all the time, but it was very helpful information because I got to see what was affecting my sleep. And actually, it was more than a few months ago. It was over a year. I think it was over a year and a half ago because I stopped drinking alcohol because of it, because I saw how much it was affecting my sleep. You could see it in the numbers. And then I got to see if I ate food later, how it affected, and if I watched TV too close to bed. And so all these factors, right? And that feels very Virgo to me. And Virgo's an analyzer. Virgo loves to analyze things. So you may want to start to analyze how much rest you're getting. How are you getting recharged fully? Okay. And take steps in that direction. Now you have the 5 of Swords. Looks like she's on a walk with her dog. It says you can't be right all of the time. Five of Swords, and they're kind of parting ways maybe from some other people, but just show up, get that walk in, and yeah, you're not going to be right all the time. Of course not. Now let's see what else we've got. So far, it's all air again. We have King of Wands. So we got some fire energy in here. The King of Wands, he likes to go and do and see. He likes to go on an adventure. He's a passion king. So it's kind of like get moving energy here. Get most rest so that you can have the most fun. You've got the warrior wolf, intelligence, instinct, protection, fierce hunter and protector. Be the guardian and guide to my journey. Warrior wolf. Okay, well, there's a lot of things about journeys here. And there's a lot, I just think that the sleep, when you remedy this situation, and even maybe you're like, no, I sleep, it's not a big deal, but are you getting deep sleep? Are you getting the rest that you need? You might be in bed, you might think you're sleeping, but are you actually getting the deep restorative rest? Let's see what your tea leaf cards say here. We've got the scales. Keep your life in balance. Kind of repeating everything we've been saying. We know we have Mars in Libra, taking action in a balanced way. And so just finding that balance. And your other card is dogs, getting together with friends. Interesting that she was walking her dog here, some loyal friends here. Even though we see a parting of the way there, maybe there's some people that you need to reach out to. Interesting, a wolf is also like a dog. So getting together with friends, dogs to me are Cancer energy. There's a sense of loyalty to it. So if there is some people that aren't the right people for you, then find the right ones and get together maybe with some old friends, people that have been there with you for a long time. August 25th through August 31st. So this is the week that Venus moves into Leo, okay? So on Monday the 25th, we will have the moon in the sign of Virgo still. It'll enter Libra at 10:08 a.m. Don't make promises too early. Keep your options open and enjoy the beauty. Watch for envy. We had talked about Venus in Leo, right? The golden Venus, that infinitely attractive. And so you can attract people that can really see your potential. It's easy to get opportunities, kind of move up the ladder, so to speak. And then there's a lot of charismatic, magnetic energy, but there's also the opposite, which can produce jealousy. Okay. So that's why I was talking about the evil eye earlier. That's why I put it on the printout for the week. Watch for envy. Now, I know you can't control if people are envious of you, but you can take note of when it's happening so you know what you're dealing with. Okay. Venus to Leo, Tuesday the 20th. The moon will continue to be in Libra. It'll be together with Mars in Libra, and it will be opposite Saturn and Neptune. It's okay to say no. Take action where you are called to. Okay, you can't say yes to everything. Libra has a tendency. I think Libra and Virgo both have a tendency to overgive. So make sure to say no when you need to. Wednesday the 27th, the moon will be in the sign of, let's see, it'll be in Libra most of the day. It moves into Scorpio at night, and it will be square Venus. So just take it easy in your relationships. It's not worth the fight. Keep the peace. Do your own thing in the evening. Okay. It's a great evening to spend some alone time or doing things that you want to be doing. Now, Thursday the 28th, Uranus will be sextile Neptune. Okay. This is considered to be a rare event. Neptune in Aries equals vision. It uplifts, it influences, it glamorizes whatever sign it's in. So it's glamorizing Aries, a fierce, rugged sign of individualism. Neptune could glamorize war or the American myth of the lone cowboy kind of energy. But it could lead to fights or duels, but why don't we use it for better things than that? Okay. You can uplift an individual. There's heroic energy here. You may feel that you need to do something heroic and you may be noticed. Now, Uranus is modern technology. Uranus is the influencer, the brand, people coming together, and it has infectious enthusiasm. This is the energy of something going viral. Like, say you're posting something online, it could go viral. Uranus sextile Neptune. Let's see what I wrote. I wrote, can you sustain your progress? Can I keep up with demand? Orders come in, the public wants you. So yeah, it's like things could go viral, but are you going to be able to handle it? Right? It's like I'm starting my online store, and all of a sudden, if people are ordering like crazy, am I going to be able to handle it? If your TikTok post goes viral, are you going to be able to handle it? But it's telling you to go for it. Okay. So there's a lot of infectious enthusiasm on Thursday, the 28th. There's viral energy, viral air energy. It's very exciting. Now, on Friday the 29th, the moon is still in the sign of Scorpio, the deep, watery sign of Scorpio. Trust what you feel, but don't say it aloud, okay? You don't want to get into it with others. There's still a square with Venus, but you are going to be feeling like crazy because, moon in Scorpio is psychic placements. It's just sometimes it can get really nitpicky, or sometimes in an extreme, it can get self-sabotaging. So be careful for that. Now, the weekend, the 30th, the moon is in Scorpio until 10:04 a.m., where it moves into Sagittarius. I wrote down, less talk, more love. Sagittarius wants to have fun. There's a square with Mercury, but there's a trine with Venus. So go have a good time and enjoy, but don't get too deep into conversation. Sunday, make your own luck. Give it a try and believe you can. This is the first quarter moon in Sagittarius. So we're beginning. It's going to be waxing. Okay. So don't be humble or self-sacrificing. Be clear about your feelings. Try, make your own luck. There's just like, have faith. You can pull it off. Okay. And I wrote down brave souls in rough passages. So there's a lot of luck on your side with Sagittarius energy in this first quarter moon that is beginning to grow something. So that was a little overview. Oh, I got to give you some cards, don't I? Let's give you some cards for this week. Venus to Leo, this infectious, enthusiastic energy, and then this first quarter moon in Sagittarius. Let's see what you need to know. We're talking about Venus and Leo and watching out for envy. And let's give you some oracles and something from the TV. Let's see a couple there. Oh, I got a few. All right, let's see what your first card is. You've got strength. It takes great strength to be soft. Okay. Strength, Leo energy. We already know there's Leo energy with Venus in Leo. It takes great strength to be soft. Beautiful. Now, second card is the Seven of Cups. Looks like there's a lot of options. It's foggy, but a lot of options, a lot of beauty going on. Queen of Coins, the Queen of Pentacles showing up here. She's the queen of the hearth and the home. There is no lack when the Queen of Pentacles shows up, or the Queen of Coins, as it's called in this deck. There's a lot of female energy here, and kind of being like a gentle ruler here. Let's see what your oracle is. It is Observant Octopus. Complexity, multitasking, ingenuity. Shape-shifting guardian of the sea, grant me the power of transformation. Beautiful. Let's see what else we've got. I got 3. The kangaroo, unsettled times, need to plan ahead. March, looks like, is that Lily of the Valley? And scissors, disappointment in some affairs. Okay, so unsettled times, need to plan ahead. Something that you're planning for March. So maybe there's something that has, because it says disappointment in some affair. So maybe there's something that you wanted to do that isn't coming together. Maybe it's being postponed. Pull another card about that. Am I onto something with that? Seven of Pentacles, nurture what you have and see how it grows and grows. So Seven of Pentacles is when things aren't really ready yet, right? It usually shows, someone like taking care of something, but it's not to full fruition yet. So that's what I'm kind of getting here with this March and the, need to plan ahead. There's something here. Maybe you were hoping that it would come together. Maybe there were some financial reasons that it didn't, but it looks like you may be changing your plans to March. And it says Page of Pentacles, when life gives you lemons, make enchanted lemonade. Okay, so it looks like you may have to save up for what it is that you want to do a little bit longer. Or maybe you have the resources with the Queen of Pentacles, but maybe you feel unsettled because we are in unsettling times right now, more than ever before. So there's a need to plan ahead, okay? And so if there's something that you have to put off to March, that's okay. It's showing you that it's okay. And to be soft and gentle to yourself about it. Looks like there's a lot going on right now, but it's going to come together for you. And I can almost smell the lily of the valley from here. So thank you for joining me for the month of August overview. Looks like an interesting month. And we will be moving into September, where we'll be going into eclipse seasons. So enjoy the beauty of August. Make sure to mark your calendar for the 12th of August, where we saw some really beautiful energy there. It looked to me, let me just look back because I think it was the best day of the month to me. Yeah, Venus conjunct Jupiter. So really take advantage of the 12th, the 13th, and